I'm not saying that there isn't a virus. I'm saying that there is a virus with a 99.03% survival rate is what I'm saying. A lot of people think, oh, but we have a second wave right now. Except that we don't. I don't know if you've looked into this, but they actually changed the way that they count COVID cases. I don't know if you heard about this, but it used to be if you test positive, you are a COVID case. Okay? Makes sense. That makes sense to me. Now, let's say I live with 5 people, I work with 5 people, okay? I test positive. The 5 people at my house and the 5 people that I work with now become cases, okay? Cases. So now there are 11 cases, including me, 1 confirmed, 10 not confirmed. And you wonder why these cases are exploding, okay? Because it's manufactured. It's a manufactured second wave. So it is officially day 122 of our 14-day quarantine. I often wonder if you knew that 14 days meant 122, would you have ever abided by it at all? At all? Would you have ever actually done what they said to do? I want to talk a little bit about some of the rules, and I want to ask you, do you have an open mind? Do you question authority? Do you question the rules that are given to you and why you do the things that you do? You should ask yourself, does this make sense? So, for instance, the markers on the ground, okay? You go to the supermarket, you go to the bank, anywhere you go, you have these 6-foot markers on the ground, whether it's a red X, a blue X, or a special, logo from the company that's on the ground. So let me ask you this, does this increase or decrease your risk of contracting something from another person? Well, I would say it might increase your risk because you're going from standing in exactly this one spot, and there is a person in front of you who is standing exactly in that spot in front of you. Now they move up and you move up to exactly where they were just standing. How does that make any sense? You are literally moving up to breathe the exact air that they were just breathing. That doesn't make any sense, right? Another thing, these regulations are making people be around each other for a longer period of time. Have you noticed that when you go to the supermarket, it takes twice as long? That's doubling your exposure, is it not? You are now stuck in a line of a group of people where you are moving up to breathe the exact same air that they were just breathing, and now it's taking you twice as long. So you're around people longer in a group setting. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. And then these masks, okay? So I'm going to the gym, and at first they weren't requiring a mask. Now they're requiring a mask. I'm choosing not to wear one, and if anybody asks me why, I will cite the ADA, and that they cannot ask me any further questions because I have a medical disorder that does not allow me to wear a mask. And it's nobody's business what that is, okay? But okay, so now you're at the gym, okay? You're working out, you have a mask on. What does a mask do? How does it protect you, right? How does it protect you? It protects you by slowing airflow, correct? Isn't that the whole point? Slows airflow. So if I'm working out, I have a bachelor's in kinesiology. My husband has a master's in kinesiology, so I know how the body works. As you're working out, you have increased use of oxygen, okay? We literally measure your fitness by a VO2 max, which is your ability to consume oxygen, right? So now you're wearing a mask that reduces airflow and you're exercising. That is unhealthy. You're increasing CO2, which is part of the filtration system that your body needs to exercise. You clear, right? You clear byproducts through CO2. So it literally limits your fitness. Furthermore, I'm thirsty now. I need to take a drink, okay? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna put my hands up near my face after I was just touching equipment to remove a mask to take a drink of water? Doesn't that increase my risk to have to continually touch my face or near my face, right? So again, that doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, there was a study, I can't remember the exact study, but it was about how people who have insufficient levels of vitamin D, okay, insufficient levels of vitamin D, they are higher risk. Okay, when they catch COVID, it takes them out. It just takes them out. They're in the hospital, and then if they also have some sort of, other illness going on, that's going to increase their risk as well. So if vitamin D is a risk factor, wouldn't they want to encourage us to go outside? Right? Go to the beach. Okay, and then the beach thing. So hold on. When you go to the beach, do you go 6 feet next to someone at the beach? No, nobody does that. Everybody is 20, 30 feet away from each other at the beach. It makes no sense to stop people from going to the beach. It's absolutely ridiculous, okay? I have never been to the beach and went closer than 20 feet to another human being, even on 4th of July, okay? So, absolutely ridiculous. And then talk about the numbers of all of the outside impact of closing down, okay? So, I understand, I'm not saying that there isn't a virus. I'm saying that there is a virus with a 99.03% survival rate is what I'm saying, okay? So there is a virus. It has 99% survival rate. But we are shutting down. People don't understand, we are social beings. We need to be around other people. The mental implications that this lockdown is having on people, suicides are up. They're estimating that 75,000 people will commit suicide just because of the lockdowns. That's not worth it to me. That's not worth it to me. And here's another thing. It's a virus. It's a virus. Do you know what that means? Everybody's gonna get it. It's not a matter, and that's the whole thing. When they said 14 days to flatten the curve, what does that mean? An infection rate is a bell curve, okay? So we wanna make that infection rate longer and shorter rather than steep and high. And all that means is that instead of everybody being infected at once, we spread it out so people are infected over a longer period of time and less people sick at a time. Pretty much everybody who would get sick if we had everything open is going to get sick. So the entire purpose of the lockdown was to flatten the curve, right? Here's the curve, was to flatten the curve and elongate it so that the hospitals would not be overrun. The hospitals have not gotten overrun. So if the purpose of the lockdown was to flatten the curve, we've accomplished that, okay? A lot of people think, oh, but we have a second wave right now, except that we don't. I don't know if you've looked into this, but they actually changed the way that they count COVID cases. I don't know if you heard about this, but it used to be if you test positive, you are a COVID case, okay? Makes sense. That makes sense to me. Now, let's say I live with 5 people, I work with 5 people, okay? I test positive. The 5 people at my house and the 5 people that I work with now become cases, okay? Cases. So now there are 11 cases, including me, 1 confirmed, 10 not confirmed. And you wonder why these cases are exploding, okay? Because It's manufactured. It's a manufactured second wave. It's not legitimate. Furthermore, in California, they said, oh, we had the highest cases in one day. Well, if you look at the data, they included 30,000 serology tests, which means they did not test positive for COVID. They tested positive for antibodies, which means at one time they could have had COVID. But when you do even further research, when you test positive for serology for COVID-19, you could have any of the coronaviruses, which includes the common cold. So in those 30,000 serology tests, they included the common cold. But they're not reporting this. They're not reporting this. All of this is just to ingrain in you that your freedom is selfish, that your choices to choose the way that you would like to protect yourself is selfish. If I have severe anxiety and feel like I'm gonna throw up when I wear a mask, that's selfish for me to not want to wear a mask. Okay? Furthermore, the science, the CDC has said that people who are not showing symptoms are very rare, if at all, to spread the virus. Let me say that again. The CDC has said those who are not showing symptoms are very rare to spread the virus. So I thought the whole thing was that, oh, you can be carrying the virus and not even know it and spreading it to everyone. Well, the science says that that's actually not true. So if that's not true, why do we still have masks everywhere? Everywhere you go, you see people driving alone in their cars with their mask and gloves on. What does that do for you? That does nothing. That does nothing. So ask yourself if you're blindly following what you're being told to do and what that means. When you are told that your freedom is selfish and you are programmed that your freedom is selfish and that person who's not wearing a mask is killing grandma and now they have blood on their hands, that's wrong. That's wrong. You have the freedom to choose the way that you would like to protect yourself. And I'm sorry, if you get coronavirus, that's not my fault. That's your fault. I know that people don't want to hear this or say this, and I know that people have died. People have died. I know that they have. But what that means is that they didn't isolate themselves to not get it. But everybody's going to get it. It's a virus. Do you know how contagious viruses are? We just want to flatten the curve. The curve is still there. Everybody's still going to get it. It's just a matter of flattening the curve, which we've already done. So my freedom to not wear a mask is my choice. And the fact that I'm being demonized for it, I've had family members who have disowned me because of what I post on social media. What is that? That's ridiculous. If you so demonize your fellow American over their own personal choices like that, that's not tolerance, that's not love, that's hatred. That's bigotry, if you ask me. That's a problem. How about you protect yourself the way that you would like to protect yourself, and I will protect myself the way that I would like to protect myself. You know that you can get your groceries delivered, right? So if you don't feel comfortable going out in public, get your groceries delivered. If you don't feel comfortable going out in public without a mask, wear a mask, but don't force me to. Do you know what a mask does to a society? Dehumanizes people. You don't see somebody smile anymore. That's wrong. It's oppressive. When you put a mask on someone, that's like a muzzle. And what if I don't want to wear one? I feel violated when I am forced to wear a mask. Partially because of my severe anxiety and claustrophobia, but nobody cares about that. What about my freedom? Nobody cares about that. I am so happy that my immediate family members feel the same way that I do. And I have some cousins and uncles that feel the opposite way that I do. And it's interesting to see who's alienating who in all of this. But I have great support system, and if you don't, reach out to people on social media who feel the way that you do. I joined SoCal, open SoCal group. And it's so nice to see all of the people out there who feel the way that I do. And guess what? Silent majority. Okay? We elected Donald Trump. We're going to do it again. That's what this is all about. It's about control. It's about forcing a global agenda, okay? Cashless society, that's a global agenda. Monitoring and censoring history, global agenda. And tanking our stock market. Because guess who has been the best president in our history, according to the stock market? Donald Trump. He hit records multiple days in a row for, I think, a week it was. Highest ever. And guess what? After race riots, coronavirus, all this crazy stuff, all of that brought Trump's economy down to Obama's high. It's not good for Obama anyway. So I can't wait to see what he does after he's elected again. Everything opens back up. Guess what? Once that happens, Trump has nothing to lose, right? He is serving his second term. He doesn't have an election to lose. You think he did a lot? You think he did a lot in this last term? Look out for the next one. It's going to be amazing what you see done. So my final word is that if you think that none of this is contrived and that it's all just what the media says it is, take a look at Agenda 21. Research it. If you have never heard of it, research it, okay? Educate yourself. Look it up. This is Tracy Cook with Project America.